National Weather Service in Raleigh. This is Jonathan Blaze with the weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. In effect for today through next Wednesday, we have an active weather pattern coming up. On the screen, you can see a static image of our radar view across the region. I'm going to go ahead and pop on the screen a animation of Central North Carolina and where it's raining currently. You'll see a large area of light to moderate, even some embedded heavier rain just south of the Triad, mainly near and south of Interstate 85. And that area of rain kind of extends to south and east toward the Sandhills and southern Piedmont areas. This rain and showers and even some thunderstorm activity will tend to ramp up and expand during the next several hours as it gradually shifts east and northeast across much of the area. So look for weather conditions to deteriorate during the next several hours across parts of the southern Triad and then eventually into the Fayetteville and Triangle areas, really as we head into mid and early afternoon. And that's the first of what will be many weather systems to impact the area over the next week or so. So looking at the upcoming weather pattern across central North Carolina, there is an area of low pressure that is centered near the North Carolina, South Carolina border this morning, just a little southeast of Charlotte. That system is fairly weak, but is associated with a large area of deep moisture. That will move east and northeast through the rest of the afternoon into the evening and then move off the coast on Friday morning. That system will bring, again, widespread showers, some embedded thunderstorms, locally heavy rain, and a small risk of a strong or even severe storm to parts of the area, mainly southern and eastern locations this afternoon and early evening. That weather system will move off the coast early Friday. We'll kind of be in between systems for Friday, so we look actually for a bit of a lull in terms of rain and unsettled weather for a good part of the day tomorrow, Friday. There will be some storms that develop across the Tennessee Valley and the mountains that could drift into western areas late Friday afternoon and evening, especially during the evening. The coverage on that should be limited. So for the most part, Friday for many of us will be a fairly quiet weather day, at least compared to much of the rest of the week. Another system will approach on Saturday and especially Sunday. That'll be associated with some disturbances aloft and a cold front. So look for increased showers and thunderstorms on Saturday afternoon and evening, but especially Sunday with perhaps some stronger and severe storms associated with that. A bit of a lull on Monday, again, as we're kind of in between fronts, hopefully, and a little bit of quieter weather, although not completely dry. But then rain chances and the threat of active weather increases for Tuesday into Wednesday as a much stronger front begins to approach and move into our region. So let's take a look at some details here. First, looking up at the severe weather potential for the next week or so. Across the area today, the Storm Prediction Center just has this listed in what's called a general thunderstorm threat. We are a little bit concerned, and it's not highlighted on this map per se, that there could be a very isolated, strong or severe storm, mainly south and east of Raleigh. More details on that here in just a moment. On Friday, the second panel here highlights the severe weather outlook for Friday. This highlights a marginal risk in the west. This is associated with storms moving into the area late in the afternoon and evening. Coverage on this is likely to be very limited. Again, details on that here in a moment. The severe weather threat actually ramps up for Saturday, then again, especially on Sunday, where we have a slight risk of severe weather, at least across parts of the area. And again, I'll highlight that here in just a moment. After that, we do expect perhaps the severe weather risk to diminish a bit on Monday, and we'll just have to stay tuned for next Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, for today, we've noted a limited risk of severe weather today. There is a chance that just the right amount of ingredients, which are very limited right now, could pop up enough and increase enough that we have a risk of a stronger severe storm, mainly south and east of Rocky Mount and Raleigh and Pinehurst. With that, there could be some locally heavy downpours, of course, but strong winds and just an outside chance of a very brief and isolated tornado. The little area of low pressure that's moving across us right now has a little bit of a tropical kind of characteristic to it, and that could present, again, a very limited risk of a stronger severe storm south and east of Raleigh. The threat is rather limited, but we're on top of that. We've got several folks monitoring that here the rest of today. The risk area risk time, again, would be mid to late afternoon into the early evening or so. For Friday, a marginal risk is highlighted across the western half of central North Carolina. That's associated with some storms moving out of the Tennessee Valley and mountains late in the day. The risk time for that would be more late afternoon into the evening. Coverage on this probably going to be limited, so our concern here is a little bit limited, but we're going to keep an eye on that given the time of year and some ingredients that are available tomorrow. The risk is still present. And as we head into Saturday, there is actually a slight risk now introduced for our southwestern areas. This is related to a large area of showers and thunderstorms, again, across the Tennessee, Ohio valleys that may drift into our area during the afternoon and evening. Confidence on this is a little bit lower than we might typically see, and that's noted in the Storm Prediction Center comments on this. We're just going to be kind of keeping an eye on this, as there will be enough instability in the area to perhaps support some stronger storms. Looking ahead to the rainfall for the next several days, as noted earlier, we have an active pattern with multiple systems moving across the area really into the beginning of next week. On the upper left panel is today's forecast for rainfall amounts. The heaviest rain is likely to fall anywhere from the southern Piedmont east across the Sandhills into the southern coastal plain. So kind of near and especially south of US 64, notably lighter amounts up near the Virginia border. On Friday, we just have a little bit of rain highlighted here on the map. The coverage here is much less than other days. So again, we expect generally a lull in rain and rain shower and thunderstorm threat on Friday. So while we still carry a small chance of rain, it's actually going to be one of the quieter days. Chances again increase for Saturday and especially Sunday as we have a front moving into the area. Perhaps Monday we'll have a bit of a lull, especially from the Piedmont west. Could be some lingering rain across the east. Timing on that is still a little bit uncertain. But if we add all those up, look at the 5-day total, we expect anywhere from maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain across the Sandhills and coastal plain, with lesser amounts up near Virginia border, perhaps a ½ inch to 1 inch. So again, additional rainfall, much like we've had for the past several months, is expected to fall, and drought conditions have pretty much been removed from the area, given all the rain we've had over the past many weeks and the past month or two. Looking at the excessive rainfall outlook, today we have a marginal risk included across a good part of the area that's associated with our little low pressure system and locally heavy rain across the area. We'll keep an eye on that. Would not be surprised if we have some flooding issues in some of the poorly drained locations, urban areas, and unfortunately locations that get kind of hit by multiple rounds of storms. So we'll be monitoring that through the rest of the day. Should not be widespread, but some places will get hit by some locally heavy rain with rainfall amounts generally 1 inch to maybe 1.5 inches south and east of Raleigh, with some localized higher amounts closer to 2 to 3 inches. Some good news in that it's early June and the hurricane season has begun, but no tropical storm or tropical cyclone activity is expected across the Atlantic basin as we head into the second week of June. So we'll take that as some good news. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, which carries into the third week of June here through June 18th, temperatures are expected to average near or above normal, with rainfall chances just a slight favoring for above normal precipitation. So no sign here of a real dry period or a really hot or cool period. Pretty typical kind of summertime conditions. And note that our average high temperatures now are beginning to climb into the mid and especially upper 80s across the areas we head into mid-June. Looking at the graphical weather hazard outlook, this is lit up with all sorts of colors here as we have an active pattern. But again, today we're a little bit concerned about excessive rainfall, some lightning, and even some localized severe weather, which will be very, very localized, but still keep an eye on that. The weather pattern picks up again as we head into Saturday and especially Sunday, with still a threat of showers and storms really most any day as we head into early next week. Trying to put things together here for a quick summary, and again, an active pattern over the next week or so. We have a weak area of low pressure moving across the area through tonight. More significant storm system, including a cold front, will move into the region as we head into Sunday. Again, a lull possible on Monday before a stronger front brings even more unsettled weather for Tuesday and Wednesday. Of note, beginning on Friday, highs should range near or above average through the middle of next week. And we expect some higher heat indices on Saturday and Monday as heat index values will climb into the 90s across much of the area, even the upper 90s in the south and east on those days, which will be a little bit drier than the other days. And again, active regime, keep in mind, anytime we get thunderstorms this time of year, they could produce locally heavy rain, lightning, and gusty winds. But we'll keep an eye on storms this afternoon, and especially as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Again, heat index values will climb into the 90s on especially Saturday and Monday. So we're heading a little bit more of a summertime pattern, a lot more active weather, a lot more active in terms of storms favored during the afternoon and evening. So we'll be on top of things and let you know if any concerns or increase or any threats become elevated. With that, I'll conclude the recording and I'll stand by for any questions. We appreciate everybody joining us. And again, if you want to keep up to date, feel free to reach out to us in our collaboration channels or at weather.gov/Raleigh.